Tonight I'm going to cook the ultimate bacon sour cream dip base. You know, this recipe book is printed big enough so I can leave it on the counter and work from it. Up this side I have the ingredients in the order I'm going to use them. I've already done the prep on spinach, started the prep on Brussels sprouts, chopped up the onion. So I'm going to start with coconut oil, then bacon, and then spinach, and then I have vegetables and cream cheese and cheese, which I'm going to be using in sort of various random order, because what this recipe calls for is bacon cooked in coconut oil, then we throw in the spinach, and then we throw in the sour cream. But I'm going to do another dish as well, which is going to be Brussels sprouts, also cooked in bacon fat and coconut oil and bacon, because Brussels sprouts and bacon are astonishing. And into that, I'm then going to throw some mixed vegetables, because it's a vegetable dish. And when people tell you frozen vegetables suck, well, they're much better for you than no vegetables. Alright? So.
And it also looks like you have a special guest, Rich. Who's that?
Oh, that's Tigger. Oh, yes. Yes. Don't mind him. He's just street furniture. Right? He's here to make me, well, make this whole thing look good. Now, in the recipe you'll see it's bacon. I'm going to chop it into a pot. Right? This is what the recipe calls for. It'll separate as it cooks. Right? And technically, I could put the coconut oil in half cup measure. Oil, just about half full. A full one of these, which is almost 2 pounds, takes 60 seconds to melt in a microwave. And it makes it much easier to measure. Half a cup. And now that's done. Speed things along. Throw this on the stove.
Make sure you get all the seal off of the container.
What's seal on the container?
Seal on the coconut oil. It'll make the microwave go boom.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. These come with a metal top, and you peel it off, and if there's any aluminum left on there, when you put it in the microwave, it will spark. And Tigger sees things like that, and woo! Like, makes him jump. So, okay. Right. So, the gas is on, full bore, chop. I mean, they will all separate out. Don't worry about them being stuck together at the moment, because as this heats up, they will all separate off. And this is a nice thick bacon. I say 6 slices, but within the recipe, it's really more like half a pound. It's something that's going to give you enough bacon flavour to really drive it home. And bacon and vegetables are a great combination. All that scuffling you're hearing is Tigger trying to make it behind the camera to get into the garage with his fridges, so he can get whatever he wants out the fridge. Okay, so it's beginning to cook. I'm not in a hurry. All good company. But at the end of the day, this dish has got enough protein in it, because you don't need a lot of protein. You know, with this much bacon, you've actually got a fairly good hit of protein. And you'll see when I do the Brussels sprouts, I'm just going to use some of this to do the Brussels sprouts. So okay. Now I'll stir this up a little. Right, so that the bacon is just going to set the separating out nicely, and we stir it. We do it in a pot because in a pot it doesn't spit fat all over the stove. It is tedious doing housework at the best times, and if you don't want to be cleaning bacon fat off the stove continuously, then this is something you might want to avoid. Now, what I'm about to do is to take my next ingredient, right, which is sort of a fistful of onion, and throw it in there as well. Okay? I'm going to stir that up. And I'm going to cook the bacon so that it's cooked, but it's still a little bit soft, because it makes it much tastier. Okay, now I'm going to work on the Brussels sprouts for a minute, because that's my other dish here. All I'm going to do is cut these in half. What a knife. Right? And why am I cutting them in half? Because they'll cook faster. They'll sit deeper in the pan. Because if they're sitting up too much, as whole Brussels sprouts, they're not going to cook very fast. So I'm just cutting them down to the point where they're going to be sitting lower in the pan. Now, okay. I think I'm going to chop up a bit more of this bacon and throw it in there, because I'm going to take some of that bacon out, right, and use it for my base. These are Mickey scissors. If you wonder why I'm going hack, 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 that's because they're not exactly a snippety snip pair of scissors. Right? What are you laughing at, too?
Inside joke.
I can imagine. But they work. And us fabulous craftsmen never ever blame our tools. Right? Because bad tools can't hold up a great craftsman. Okay? So, oh hell. We might as well go the whole hog. Have a pound of bacon in. And this looks like it's taking forever, but in fact, the wonderful thing about all this cookery is that you finish up with one utensil that you're... Yes, I have one pot to clean. I'm going to have a fry pan to clean in a minute as well, right? Because I'm going to be doing the broccoli. What am I saying? The Brussels sprouts in a different dish. So let me wash my hands. Get that out of the way. Okay. I have to duck under here, I think, to find the fry pan, right? Fry pan's under here. You can talk, Nicky.
Yes, the fry pan should be to your bottom right.
All right. Alright, the fry pan. And now, I'm going to find something that resembles a lid. Because when I get around to cooking this, right, I'm going to put the lid on to steam this stuff, right? Oh, this looks great. And all that bacon. Yeah. Because this high fat food, it's like we want vegetable dishes that are loaded with fat. We want meat dishes that are loaded with fat. And if you make a dish like this, you can add a little bit of meat into it. You know, if you put in some chicken pieces or some ground beef in little tiny pieces, they will cook in less than 4 minutes, right? So, this base recipe will give us dinner, essentially, because anything else we add to it is only going to take moments. Recommend it. Alright, so, can you see in that pot?
Yes.
You can. Now you see, can you see all the fat in that pot?
Yes.
Alright, that fat is where we get our energy from, okay? All our health energy. And so, now, I need some gloves.
Third drawer down, below the
Oh, right.
utensils.
Alright, okay. Need something to hold the pot with while I take some of this and with that.
Did you say you need someone to hold the pot?
No. I'm too talented for that. Now I have the pot, right? And if you have a look at that, I think that that's done well enough because I want the fat to stay on. I want there to be bacon grease in here. And now I'm going to throw in my washed and cut. So take a water. Take your take this out, throw it in here, put it back on the stove, fry it for 2 or 3 minutes until it gets totally limp, and then we just take it off the heat, let it cool, right? So we'll let that come up to a boil. Meanwhile, I'll take my Brussels sprouts and put them in here, along with those little extra random pieces of onion. And if you haven't had bacon and Brussels sprouts, and you hate Brussels sprouts, the reason you hate Brussels sprouts is because you haven't had bacon and Brussels sprouts, right? So meanwhile, back of the ranch, this is cooking down. And I want to get that spinach cooked completely down. I'll put this over the back, turn that on. You can't see it, you don't need to right now. Right? And what I'm also going to do is throw in these mixed veggies. Right, well you know what carrots, broccoli and water chestnuts are, right? So I don't really need to explain that. But what I'm trying to do is make a vegetable-based dish that I could put in the fridge and eat over the next few days. It's high fat, because before I finish, I'm going to make it much higher fat than it is now. I'll throw in a little bit more coconut oil, and then I'm going to put in some sour cream. So I'm going to have these veggies that are going to be a very rich choice. Okay? I'm going to need a bigger fry pan. That's all right. I'll bring them out to you. But this is going to be, by the time I finish with it, like I said, might have to find a bigger fry pan. This is all very ad hoc. And you can stay there, Mickey, because I'm going to bring something else out to you. Right? And that is spinach. When it cooks down, all that spinach that I threw in cooks down to that, and it will cook a little bit smaller. Then I'm going to take it off the heat, leave it off the heat until it's cooled down, and then I'm going to stir in a pound of sour cream. And this becomes a bacon sour cream dip that you can put in the fridge and you can have any time at all. And you might even demonstrate how to eat this a little later on seaweed, of all things. So, yep. So at this stage, that's pretty much done. That is the base of our whatever, you know, spinach, bacon, coconut oil. So that can sit out. This lot is beginning to settle. I think I need a bigger fry pan. Just gonna.
Who are you gonna call?
Oh, Ghostbusters! Yeah, right. Oh yeah, great. See? There it is. That's the fry pan I'm going to use. Here's the scraper I'm going to use. Out she comes. In here. And get all those wonderful fats and the bacon fat off. This is a silicone scraper, right, which is resistant to heat up to about 450 degrees. All right, and this back on heat. And now, I'm going to about half fill this with coconut oil. Get it sizzling, throw in the rest of the vegetables, and this is going to be vegetables for days. Well, if you have 4 people to feed, it'll be a serious meal on its own, right?
I know I'm ready to try it.
Uh-huh.
I'm ready to try it. I'm not eating as much as I planned on because I'm seeing all this food you guys are making.
All right, good. And so, I'll put a lid on that, and I'm now going to let things sit, and you can turn it off